Well, welcome back to my kitchen. So tonight's dinner, it is so cold and really yucky today. It's been raining off and on. We had our wonderful fall spring and everything was wonderful and great. And then now for the next 5 days, we're going to have clouds and rain and possibly snow. Oh my goodness. So I decided that we need to have some nice warm comfort food. So what we're going to make is some turkey kielbasa with a bunch of veggies. We're also going to make a gluten-free cornbread muffins, and we're going to serve the kielbasa over homemade rice. So let's get to making the gluten-free cornbread muffins. All right, so I have my recipe. I'll let you take a little shot here of it. I'll also type out the recipe below. So I'll need to grab a bowl. All right, so I have a bowl here. Put you where you can see. I apologize that it's dark. It's actually evening, so lighting is kind of a tricky thing. All right, so I need 1.5 cups of flour. Grab my 1 cup measure. And the type of gluten-free flour I'm actually using is this. So I need 1.5 cups. I cannot find my 1/2 cup measure. So I'm going to guesstimate the half. I've never precisely measured this and it came out every time. I need 1/2 cup of cornmeal. And I have the fine grind cornmeal. I think it makes a better muffin actually than the rough or the coarser grained. I need 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I do believe this is a quarter. So you need 2/3 of a cup. I like it a little sweet, so I'm going to add a little extra. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. One and a half cups of milk, and I'm going to make mine from powder. So let me get 1.5 cups of water. I have powdered milk. I also don't measure how much I put into my water. I just put it in there until it looks good to me. Give that a little stir. I'm going to let this melt a little bit before I pour it in there. I need 2 eggs, and these are farm fresh eggs, so I need to clean them off. There's the first egg. And the second. I need 1/2 cup of butter, and I buy my butter in these big blocks from Sam's Club. So I need a half a cup. So this is a quarter and a quarter. Grab my cutting board. It does not say softened butter. I always look at that and think it should be softened, but nope, it doesn't say softened butter. Just going to cut them in small pieces. And I always use salted butter. I don't buy salted and unsalted. I just buy salted butter. If you're worried about the salt content, you can either eliminate the salt that's in the, the little bit that you add, or you can use unsalted butter. I love this cornbread recipe. It is so rich and yummy. It does not taste like gluten-free cornbread at all. All right, all the butter is added. Now I'm going to add the milk. All right, because my butter is so cold, I had to put it into my mixer. Now while that's mixing, we'll prep these.
It was you who started all of this, promising me more with every kiss. Said all you wanted was me, and you're always thinking of me. You told me that you love me.
All right. Looks pretty good. Get my scoop. A little trusty cookie scoop. All right. It still has little chunks of butter in it, but as it cooks, the butter will melt into the batter. I like to fill them somewhere around a little over a half, not quite 3/4. Just depends on my mood. Don't overfill them, then they get everywhere.
It was me, and you're always thinking of me. You told me that you love me. You told me that you...
All right, both trays are now filled. I'm going to stick it into my little oven. They are my oven is preheating to 350 degrees. It says for 35 minutes, but I actually take a temperature of them due to the fact that this is the type of oven I'm using, so I can't really just depend that in 35 minutes they're done. It usually takes a little bit longer. So now let's get to making the rice. All right, so I keep my rice in one of these holiday tins. We don't eat a lot. I don't even measure my rice. I'm going to show you how I make sure I get the right amount of water for whatever amount of rice I put in. I have not put this away, the mixer, because I still have cornbread batter in there. All right. Put my lid on. Now I've made my rice this way since I was about 4. So if you come at me and you say that's not the way to make rice, I've been doing it a little over 52 years. So and I've never ever had a batch come out wrong. So what I do is I wash this rice until it's almost completely clean. And then I'll show you how I measure how much water I put in here. All right, the trick to washing rice really fast is you use lukewarm water, not hot, not cold. Use the power of the faucet to clean it, and then your rice will come out clean fairly quickly. I have seen people put their hand and swirl it around in there. It is not needed. Okay, so then I'm going to turn it to colder, and I'm going to fill this. Get all my rice in there. Swirl it around so it's flat. Give it a shake, and then I stick my finger in, and it goes up to the first middle knuckle. You just barely touch the rice. Don't go into the rice. You just barely touch the very top of the rice. It should hit your middle finger's first joint. And that is more than enough water for this to be cooked appropriately. I have to show you real quick just how good those look already. They look so good. I have an Asian style rice cooker. Pop it open, put the tray of rice in, and this also keeps it warm. So I can cook it and keep it warm for, I usually do a couple days in it. I think I've done as long as 3 days. And I just hit cook. It has a vent automatically, and I don't have to think about it. All right, so I poured the veggies in. You saw that. I didn't have any sound. Sorry, didn't have my mic turned on. But now we're going to wait until this comes up to a rolling simmer, and then we're going to add the kielbasa. All right, we got a little bit of simmering going on here. I'm going to add in the kielbasa, and I already cut that up. So it's all cut up right there. Add all of the kielbasa in. This is more than a one evening meal, so I will be able to put these in meal boxes, bento boxes, whatever you want to call that. And then we will be able to have lunch and dinners probably for a couple of days. I'll say 2 at the most, tonight and probably tomorrow night. We'll see. Might be able to make 3. All right, so now I'm just going to let this all simmer up together. All right, so now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper and some other seasonings. Let's see what I've got. This probably can handle quite a bit of salt. Bunch of pepper. Put some paprika in there. Little bit of garlic powder, not much. We don't need onion powder, we got onions. Put a little bit of curry in there. Give it a stir.
It was you who started all of this, promising me more with every kiss.
Grab a spoon and give it a taste. Just take a little bit of the broth. Well, that's really good, but it needs more salt. I have some tomato powder. I kind of wonder if I should give it a tomato powder flavor. Where's my tomato powder? Got a little bit of tomato powder. I can. From the garden, actually. If you've never made tomato powder from leftover tomato skins and seeds, you gotta give it a try. Super easy. Just dehydrate the skins and seeds and then run it through a coffee grinder. And oh my goodness, it's so good. And it's stuff you would have thrown away. So let's give that another taste. Let's grab a little onion, a little bit of corn. So much better. That's phenomenal. Gotta let it cook a little bit more. And then we're gonna serve this right over a bed of rice. All right, guys, let's serve this up. So open up the rice. I have to show you, it is absolutely perfectly cooked. So there you go, absolutely perfectly cooked rice. I never measure, never use a measuring cup ever. Pull out some rice here. A little bit of our kielbasa mix, veggies, put it right over the top. Along with some of those wonderful onions and broccoli, carrots, corn, somebody blowing off fireworks. All right, so we're gonna unveil the cornbread. Because I didn't use any spray, which makes the paper just fly out, it'll stick. It'll just flare open. So put a couple of cornbreads there, and so much butter it seeped through the paper. Look at that plate. Doesn't it look phenomenal? Let's take a taste. All right, guys. Doesn't that look so good? Cornbread, kibasi. Let's give it a taste. All right. So I want a little bit of the kibasi and the veggies and the rice. Mm-hmm. A perfect amount of flavor. That is so good. Okay, so the cornbread had a lot of butter in it. Let's give it a try. It's real spongy. Just like cornbread. A little bit of extra butter, but whoever hated butter, right? So good. Well, I want to thank you guys if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Totally appreciate you guys watching my videos, but I have noticed that some of you guys are not subscribers. It is free. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and then hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified each time I upload one of these videos. It is time for me to start cleaning out my freezer. So I'm going to do a lot more meals because garden season starting. I have plants started, and in like 2.5 months I have 30 chickens coming, and I need to have room in my freezer, so it's time to clean it out. And this was a completely gluten-free dinner. So good, easy to do. I will leave the ingredients and the recipe for the cornbread in the description box below. The kibasi is easy, just some veggies, some spices, and kibasi, and then some rice. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until my next upload, bye.